What's going on, YouTube people? Welcome back to the channel. A big thank you for coming back and joining me for part 14 of I'm taking Solihull Moors to the Premier League. If you've been with me for the journey so far, you will know that we have now passed through League One, and for the current season we're going to be playing in the Championship for the first time. So this episode is going to be all about us building up to kicking off in the Championship. We're going to show you the players that have come in, the players that have left. Also going to go through things like the club finances, the club vision, show you where those new faces might fit in, and also show you how we have got on in our pre-season campaign. So the first thing you're going to notice on the club info page is we now have a new hot prospect in Craig Hunt. He is a new signing who has gone straight back out on loan, and we will get round to him in a minute. But we've still got club captain as Matthew Waite, and our key player is still Ian Beveridge. So let's jump straight into those transfers and show you exactly what we have been doing in the transfer market. So it's a little bit crazy. There are a lot of names that have had to come in, basically preparing us for a Championship campaign. Just looking at our squad from last season, it was not strong enough. We were not going to survive, and we needed to do something. Now, I know it's a lot of transfers and a lot of players. When you bring in bulks of players in, it takes them a while to bed into the club. We haven't really got that time. We need them to settle in quickly. And not just that, but we have lost a lot of players too. Now, on the right-hand side, you're going to see quite a lot of these are loans. All the loan players are pretty much players who have come in through our youth intake, or are players that I have bought from America that I'm trying to send out on loan to kind of fast track their adult football careers, to get them playing in adult football so they can develop as quickly as they can for us to bring them back and integrate them into the first team. So let's kick things off by showing you the players that have left. I'm not going to go through them all because, like I said, there are a lot of loans, but there are some players that have left for cash values. So the first of which was Ezio Torre. He has gone back to Italy to play for Cesena. 160,000 is what we got for him. Quite impressed with that because we didn't pay anything for him. It's not a horrendous deal. Basically, he wasn't going to get into the first team. I think he had reached the limit in League One. He wasn't getting first team football last season anyway. His career with us, 66 games, 28 goals. He was a fine player, almost 1 in 2 in terms of his strike rate. But Championship level, you're going to need to do a little bit better. So we have gone out and we have replaced him. But he was one of those players that brought cash value into the club, and cash is pretty much what you need at this level. The next player to go out for a cash value was Oisin McEntee, a free transfer that we bought in. Wasn't a bad punt on a player, he just wasn't going to fit into our system. Couldn't get game time for us, only played 2 times. Sent him out on loan to Accrington, and then when he came back, we moved him on for £26,000. Again, he was a free transfer, so nothing ventured, nothing gained, and we made a tiny profit. The next one was Jordan Allen. He's gone to Queen of the South. Again, a 28-year-old who came in, didn't play for us, ended up getting loaned out. Can't really complain. We took a punt on the player. I do think we actually lost money. No, we picked him up on a free transfer and sold him for 12,000. So a tiny little profit. Can't really say that it was horrific to let him go for that price, and we will take that. And then all the other ones there are loan deals going out. So as I said, some of the players are probably not going to make the grade. Players like Ibrahim Adams here has gone on loan to somewhere in his native Nigeria. Linton Langmead was on our predicted best 11 prospects in the last episode. Another player who's gone out to get experience. I'm not expecting miracles from these types of players, but if any development can come from it by playing adult football, we will take that chance. So we then had to start bringing players in. Now on the left hand side, you're going to notice that we have spent £700,000. We did have 2 million available to us. I chose to try and invest it wisely, and also continue to pick up players from clubs that are local to us on the free market. So starting us off, we've got Reece Morris. He is another one of these American players who we have bought in, an 18-year-old. We are now overloaded with left-sided players. But the good thing about this is because he's so young, he can come in, and we've loaned him straight out to Woking, which means that it's going to be a season away from us, getting some experience in English football, and hopefully he comes back for the following season and can contribute. The next player was Thierry Katsakunya. He's coming to us from Aston Villa. Did have a loan spell at Cheltenham in between, but he's another one of those players. Can play as a centre back, can play as a left back. He also has some dodgy positioning in terms of other positions he can play, but predominantly going to look at him as a left back or a centre back, and I think he's one that will do well for the club. We've got Jack Reeves. He's a 22-year-old striker. Was released by Watford. Not too sure what type of pedigree he's going to have. 13 pace, 12 acceleration, 14 finishing. Might be a bit part player with Diallo being able to play as a striker. And also we've got another player who's going to come in later on that will pretty much confirm that he won't be a out-and-out starter. Got Alex Callaghan. He's an Irish new gen. Was playing at Bournemouth, interestingly. We've gone and picked him up from there. Definitely one for the future. 19 years old. Loaned him out to Cambridge. We have got Martin Sheriff. He has come from Everton. Another striker. Again, not 100% sure of what his pedigree is going to be, but he's valued 85,000 to 600,000, which means that there is a salon value for him. We've got Craig Hunt, who's come from Earthquakes Academy in America once again. Brought him in, loaned him straight out. 18 years old, goalkeeper. Now, he's interesting because he is already attracting attention from other teams, and he has literally been with us for a matter of weeks, and we have already loaned him out, and teams are already looking at him. Valued at 230,000 to 600,000 pounds. So interestingly, we've either got a really good goalkeeper on our hands or a player that's going to attract attention and get us a profit. Now, we've had another influx of players from Reading Championship team, but we've got teams that are in the Championship or the Premier League. So starting off with Louis Holzman, comes in, can play as a option at centre back. Caden Rodney is a central midfielder who can play as a centre back, right back. He's a versatile player who is on £4,000 a week, so he's stepped down from the Premier League. He's had several moves out to get to us, but I do think he's a player that is well worth the investment. We've got Brandon Hunter. He's a Scottish central midfielder, new gen. We have Gordon Walker. He's a Northern Irish attacking option in terms of a new gen. Loaned straight out to Accrington. Previously played for Newcastle. We've got Roman Quintine, who has come to us from Everton. Only played once for Everton, but also previously played for Birmingham and Coventry. We have also got Jack Henry Francis, former Arsenal player. He's been around the block quite a bit. Chesterfield, Fleetwood, Hull, Lincoln, and then comes to us. Can play as a central midfielder, either as an attacking or defensive midfielder, so a bit of versatility in terms of being a midfielder. We've got Benji Purcell, another Reading player who has come to us, previously played for Oldham. Central midfielder or defensive midfielder. I think he has quite a lot of potential. It does say he's got 4-star potential, but 22 years old, he's 300,000 to 750,000. It's another one of those no-brainers where if it works out, it's genius. If it doesn't, we just move him on. And then the final two players to come in for cash, and this is where the bulk of all of the money went. So the first player to come in is Tommy Lonergan. He is a striker who was previously playing for St Pat's in Ireland. His strike record out there was 64 goals in 130 games. He's scored goals wherever he has been, and I'm just hoping that translates to the Championship. 23 years old, finishing a 13, pace of 13, acceleration of 13, room for development. I really think he's going to be a success and can help us certainly with our short-term goal of staying in the Championship. And the other player that we spent money on, £300,000 of the money, was on Zach Orr, former Arsenal defender, played for QPR, Notts Forest, Bolton and Reading. Come to us for £300,000. He's valued £900,000 to £2 million. At the age of 23, I think he has room for development still. I think he's going to go on to be a really important player for the club. So as I said, that is the transfer business pretty much done. 700,000 spent 215,000 recouped, and that means the finances end up looking like this. So we have an overall balance of 815,000, a transfer budget of 202,000, but we have a wage budget now of 124,000 with a current spend of 116,000, but our committed spending is 132,000. So we might have problems further down the line. It might pay for me to transfer that 202,000 into the wage budget now, and that means that we can at least get that gap closer to where the committed spending is and not find ourselves in trouble later on in the season. But that's currently how the finances stand. In terms of the club vision then, the board being ambitious in terms of the championship, they just want us to avoid relegation. We're still working within the wage budget. At the moment we're on course. Building a new stadium is still ongoing. And then, as I said, avoid relegation from the Sky Bet Championship, be competitive in the FA Cup, be competitive in the Carabao Cup. I then get a contract renewal, hopefully, providing we're not getting sacked if we get relegated from the Championship, as our job security has fallen too secure. B+ from the board across the pre-season. They're still happy with everything in terms of the board cultures. They're concerned about the finances to sell Oisin McEntee. Probably a fair comment, but it's one of them. That cash was probably more important to us than him staying at the club, and they're delighted with the aspects of Tommy Lonergan, Caden Rodney and Benji Purcell. So interesting that the board have dropped us off a little bit for our transfer activities. If we have a little look at the schedule then and see how we have got on in pre-season. So we kicked off our pre-season with a 5-2 victory against Gillingham. Agbontohoma still scoring goals from set pieces. Beveridge, Diallo and Murphy getting the goals there. We then beat Preston 1-0. Caden Rodney scored, and then Jack Henry Francis was sent off, which is strange in a friendly. We had a 0-0 draw with our biggest test of the pre-season against Wolves. We beat Birmingham 2-1. Diallo getting both goals. And then we beat Forest Green 1-0 with Aidan Hale getting the goal. So that sets us up nicely going into our first championship campaign, where we will kick off against Watford. We then have Gillingham, Burnley, Blackpool, Ipswich and Derby throughout August. So it could end up being a tough month. If we head to the squad planner, let's have a look at the assistant report first to see how the new signings have come in. So our assistant manager thinks we're going to be lining up with Bryn, Newton, Orr, Murphy, O'Keefe, Purcell, Rodney and Tetek, Springett, Beveridge and Lonergan. So interestingly enough, Purcell, Tetek both played for Reading or played for Reading. We are kind of becoming a Reading B team. Hopefully we will beat them in the championship this season. Now through a few strengths, so youth prospects, Dale Shelton, Billy Blades, Joe Pinto, low level of eccentricity in the goalkeepers. Crossing is a positive, defensive depth, midfield depth, attacking depth, defence and wage budget. So there is a slight gap still in the wage budget, even though the committed spending will pretty much wipe that out. And then the weaknesses are off the ball, passing, vision, command of area, kicking, communication, throwing, strength, teamwork, pace, work rate, positioning. So basically it's saying that we need to go out and find players with a better work rate, who are stronger and are good at throwing. If we go to the other form with the best 11, we can see it's now Bryn, Newton, Orr, Murphy, O'Keefe, Purcell, Rodney, Tetek, Springett, Beveridge and Lonergan. So it's going to be interesting to see how Lonergan gets on alongside Beveridge. I have a feeling they will score goals, especially if Springett is on the left or Diallo is on the left, and both of them are providing assists. And then in terms of our kind of best prospect 11, you have Hunt, who is the new signing, the new gen, Kelly, Moore, Katsukunya, Quintain, Waite, Wells, Henry Francis, Morris, Sheriff and Elaine. So it's setting up nicely really for the season. I do think we are going to have a great shot at staying up at the first time of asking, but with only 202,000 left in the wage budget, in the transfer budget, and the wage budget being a problem, maybe getting to January is the first thing I need to be worried about, and then we'll see where we are from there. So that is it. That is us set up for the brand new season, for the 27-28 season, and part number 14 is complete. Really looking forward to this. Seeing how we get on in the championship is going to be a good test. Right then, if you're with me at this point of the video, firstly, a big thank you. Secondly, if you don't mind hitting the like and subscribe button to help the channel, I really would appreciate it. I cannot thank you all enough for supporting the channel. It really has been a pleasure watching the channel grow. Before you go, don't forget there are other things on the channel. We have hints, tips, tutorials, let's plays, wonder kids, tactics. There is something for everybody on the channel. But for this one, I'm going to leave it there. Big thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you for part 15